Hello, guys. How you doing? Grandmaster Jerry Fastby Fontanes here, obviously. And I can honestly say that, throughout the years, I've been inactive as an instructor for 10 years. And I've been doing seminars, actually, here in the United States and over in England and Wales in the last few years. But now, of course, I have a school, and I'm very grateful to Sifu, Doug Pierre, and to my most loyal student, Joshua.
Sir.
All right, so Joshua, as you can see up here, Joshua was also part of he's the introductory instructor, and his job is to get these students to white belt. And he's been doing a phenomenal job. Today we had Miss Kelly, who is known for the abs of steel. She has a pretty big YouTube following, I should say, Instagram following. And here she has Elijah, the youngest son, and also Aiden. And they come all the way from Brooklyn to train here. And they're like a superhero family. This lady's in phenomenal shape. She threw some kicks today that I was like, whoa, But that's the difference. Years ago, she would have had to have the kids take class, go home, and come back to the adult class. So we changed that. And now we have family classes. So whether it's 3 o'clock, actually they came at 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock, 3, every hour from 2 or 3, so on and so forth, to 7, sometimes even 8 if necessary, their classes. But I want to announce starting tomorrow, we have classes at 7 in the morning and at 8 in the morning. And for whatever it's worth, we have showers if you need to take a shower before you go to work. I'm trying to eliminate the excuses because some of you guys for years have been saying, yeah, I want to train with you. Well, you guys are full of shit. You've been full of shit up until this point. But for those who want to clean the shit, we got showers. I'm almost joking. No, honestly, for the amount of people that throughout the years have been saying how they want to train with me or they want to have their children train with me, it's embarrassing to say that you guys are just talking. And, but those who don't want to talk, who want to take action, yeah, you're training directly with me. And Joshua, what's the difference, if you can say, what's the three differences from Fontanes Karate to Fontanes Martial Arts, from the 1990s versions to today? If you had to say three different things, what would it be?
Well, the circle drill, for one thing, along with the left-right drill, that goes hand in hand.
So the sparring curriculum now, what with sniper fighting that I've been teaching for the last few years, is a little more explicit now, correct?
Correct.
Okay, what else, sir?
The introductory classes, we take it a little further than usual.
Yeah, but that's him because he wants to give these guys all this extra stuff, which maybe you do, but I'm not complaining because that means that they know more than what's even necessary for them to obtain their white belt.
And it's just the excitement that you see from these kids. After the intros and they take their first class, they don't want to leave.
Yeah, so that's the part from an instructor standpoint, that's the difference. So years ago, you was part of the instructor's training program, went from the SWAT, to, I should say, from the BBC to the SWAT to the Delta, put over 350 extra classes in, along with your regular classes, while coming from Manhattan, Midtown on the west side, all the way to the Boogie Down Bronx. So your commitment has always been great, but I don't think you have the same feeling you have now when you have that student who comes in with no belt, and all of a sudden after a few classes.
Yeah.
How does someone like William, who's been here just over a month, make you feel?
Oh, wow. I'm really proud of William.
Yeah. So,
look, we started learning back in 2019.
He was 4 years old.
Right. And he already had Santa down. All right. Pretty much. And now he's got Santa Gloria pretty much down. Now,
Santa, rest in peace with my grandmother, and Gloria, of course, with my mother. So I changed the style for the first forms. It's jab, cross, hook, and so on and so forth. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
It's a little more action. Yes, we're still going to teach the traditional stuff. That works for the art. But the martial part is important also. My point is that we're here to help people, and we're going to start doing some virtual classes, too, for those who, just can't do it from a distance. 7 o'clock class on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 o'clock class, a.m. I should say, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and noon class Tuesdays and Thursdays too. I'm personally training myself, and it's for the purpose to just get better. You want to lead by example. But I was talking about how I know, guys, listen, I know there's a love-hate relationship when it comes to me and a lot of martial artists because I make the guys look good and look bad at the same time. And I know my pedigree. I know that as far back as the 1980s, I would go to karate tournaments and I would create havoc. Shihan Mimi reminds me of how at age 15 and 16, my ring was filled with more spectators than the black belt adults because I was doing some techniques that were like from the future. And it's just the truth. And I watched some of those videos saying, damn, what the heck? And to answer the question, how did that happen? Well, in 1981, I went to my first national karate event in Florida. At the time, it was in St. Petersburg. The U.S. Open was in St. Petersburg, Florida. And I went there and took first place in forms, which I made up on the spot. And I also took first place in Super Junior black belt fighting. Came home with these 2 trophies. And I saw guys like Steve Nasty Anderson, rest in peace. You know, Tony Young actually fought in the division. Robert Harris. You know, the Karate Illustrated Top 10. You know, Linda Dunley. So when I saw these people fighting, I'm like, wait a minute. You're not supposed to just stand there. You're supposed to be moving. And coming from Taekwondo, we're already used to doing the hopping. But I had a chance to see firsthand how the top competitors in the world, or at least in the United States, were fighting. And I brought some of those techniques back here to New York. And then Billy Blanks back in I'm trying to think now. When I was 18 years old, so that's 1984. Yeah, 1984, Billy showed me how to blitz. Well, let me go back. In 1982, at a karate tournament called the J Park Nationals in, what's the name of that town? There's a town that's, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going blank. They have one in Massachusetts and I have the same town in Connecticut. It's the same name. And it confused me because we went to that town and we stayed in Connecticut instead of Springfield. Springfield, Connecticut, and Springfield, Massachusetts only they're half a mile apart. You know, so the J Park National was in Springfield, Mass. And I had a chance to compete in a division we created called the Young Adult Division, or Young Men Division, Young Adults. It was 16, 17. So it wasn't Super Junior, which was 14 to 17. It was the Young Adult Division. And I competed in the Young Adult Division, and I fought a guy that was incredible, a killer, rest in peace to him, Clifton Bogart Blair. Clifton Blair, nicknamed Bogart, from rest in peace, Papa Fred Hamilton's students. And these guys were no jokes. So I fought him and I beat him because of the speed, but I was scared of him, but he didn't know that, you know. I was so afraid of him that I went at him. But then Billy Blanks told me, Quadrant and Billy Blanks said, hey, you can beat these guys today, why don't you compete? And I believed them. So I competed at my first national tournament as an adult black belt at age 16 at the J Park Nationals, and that was in 1982. And I took 3rd place in the super lightweight division. The guy who beat me was the #1 super lightweight of the time, rest in peace to Gary Michak. And this guy hit me with a side kick that sometimes now I feel it. I mean, I went to hit him with a rich hand. Oh, that blocked in my stomach, and there was no air in the world after that. But it was what I needed. So when I came back to New York, forget it. I fought in a national tournament. So fighting New Yorkers, so the next tournament I fought in black belt men, I took 3rd place there too. I lost to one guy who took 1st place, and he was on the U.S. team when it comes to the AAU. His name was Speedy Wilson. So at age 16, I was able to, and now I should have got my rating points and got rated that year, because national points were a certain amount, and also regional points were a certain amount, and they should have rated me, but they gave credit to the person who I beat. And technically, I didn't get the points, so I didn't get rated until I was 17 years old. Now I'm 17 years old, and I win my first grand championship in the men's fighting division. And throughout this whole time, people were hating me. Oh my God, Joshua, you don't understand. I would go to tournaments with a red bag and a blue bag. So like red pill and blue pill. And you ask me why I had 2 bags. For my box, I had to put my box. Now, the McGee's, they know what I'm talking about. I go to karate tournament, Ying Yi, and I have a box, and I put it inside one of my bags, and I'm straight up and down hip hop. I couldn't help it. So I used to put on the music and start breaking, locking, popping, boogieing to warm up, doing my splits and kicks and so on and so forth. And this is during the time when people would do forums that would say, keep it quiet. Like you had to be in your best behavior. So people used to hate me and love me at the same time. They hated the fact that they had to be in the best behavior, but they loved what I was doing because it was fun. So I was like that kid that when the lights went out, in the street lights, he was allowed to still stay out. That type of stuff. I was like the bad boy of martial arts. So in order to speak to some of my friends, including Shihan Mimi and people from the ninjas, it almost had to be like a whisper. So like I could see them and talk to them from a distance, but not get too close because they didn't want them to be around this guy who's going to influence them bad. So I get it, but realistically, and martial arts became my vocation. So instead of being a stick-up kid, like my boys were, and the bank robbers, like my boys were in the early 80s, I went to karate tournaments and I stuck them up there. Meaning I fought and I earned some money legally and got some trophies and some other awards. So that was different from most of my friends. And a lot of people say, oh, you're so lucky you had a chance to compete and I didn't get a chance to do it. Well, listen, I was a father at 17, and when I got paid hourly, it was $3.35 an hour. So to go to a tournament and win grand championship, sometimes if we got $100, that's like a week's salary, basically. At $3.35, I come home with $108. If I went to a tournament and they gave away $200, oh my God. And a few times I fought and I won grand champion and they had $500. Imagine that, Joshua? That's over a month's salary. Wow. Yeah, so I took that as my vocation. And and I started teaching in 1982 in the Head Start in 161st and Park Avenue, exactly where we live now, still, And but here I am back in Manhattan. Joshi, you started training where with me?
51st and Broadway, Manhattan.
Right above the Robin store.
Right.
Where Great Grandmaster Emmett Banks was the one that actually negotiated that deal for me, believe it or not. I have his signature on the lease. I'm going to bring the lease out so you guys can see, because there's a lot of history behind that. I also have the canceled check. Yeah. Joshi, the canceled check was $12,000. All I had in the bank at the time was $4,000. But I gave them the check on a Friday night at 7 o'clock, and I knew that they could not deposit until Monday. During that time, there was no weekend banking. And they wouldn't bounce until Tuesday. So I had the weekend and Monday to make $8,000. Well, obviously, I was able to come up with that money. I actually made $20,000 during that weekend. I'm joking. Imagine that. 20,000 was what I had. I went for 8, got 20. How did we do it? Hook people up. We hooked them up. We gave them additional years to their program based on them cashing out the Black Book Club. So that's basically what that was. And so here we are, fast forward to 2024. It took me about 2 months just to get used to Facebook advertising. Holy smokes. It wasn't that easy because now that artificial intelligence is involved, it wasn't like it was before where you had to get specific to get. 4 years ago, advertising on Facebook was completely different. Now it's Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram, and I just didn't know how to do it. But in a nutshell, we've gotten pretty good, even though half of the leads that come in are just junk because people put the wrong phone number on purpose. They're just curious to see what the deal is. And I do something that's insane, it's $20 for 2 weeks, which really ends up being the intro, which takes about 2 weeks, and most people don't do 3 times in 1 week. So it takes about 2 weeks in order to do that. And that introductory, if they can't earn their white belt, like they did today, the whole family of 3, then why would we enroll them? So they don't have to make a big financial commitment. We don't have to make a big financial commitment too, or time commitment. The worst thing is just because the student has 2 things, oxygen and money, doesn't mean you have to sign them up. Somebody has to police the school. In other words, have the avatar that you want. And our avatar is a woman like that wants to train with her children. We have quite a few people that are training with their children, and that's what we want. We don't want parents just sitting there judging. We don't want students to feel like the mother or the father taking them somewhere to be fixed. We want the family who kicks together, because the family who kicks together gets a chance for them to work as a team. And throughout the years, those have been the best students anyhow. Those who have multiple people from the same school to train together. And that's something that it's so incredible when you see a family, and there's a few of them, and I'm thinking, you know, the Figueroa family was probably one of them. You know, where you had Becky, and rest in peace to Tiny and Senior Max. So that's a mother, a daughter, and a son who all got the black belts, you know, which is also awesome. Or the Cisco family, you know, which was, I'm going blank at the father's name. Oh my God. Oh, Joe Cisco and James Cisco. And who was the other one? Gina Cisco. So you had a father, a daughter, and a son. So those combinations always worked out well in terms of being, the family that kicks together. Then the other day I had someone walk into this place called Arsenio Vargas. So it was Arsenio, Gabriel, and Booby, who's also a registered nurse over in NYU, not too far from here. Plus, the father used to take classes too. So that was a family of four. So when I started thinking about it, yes, who's the avatar of students that you want? You want these parents to actually be the ones that you want the family to do it. Hey, my brother Eric, so check this out. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, you can actually come, if you're in the neighborhood doing your work, you can come and visit because I'll be teaching classes at 7 o'clock and at 8 o'clock in the morning on Tuesdays and Thursdays, just so you know. Because I know you said you come by this area sometimes. And where's the area? We are in the East Village, baby. You know, some people try to call it Alphabet City. Some people say the Lower East Side. Well, technically it's not the Lower East Side because the Lower East Side is a little further down below Houston Street, but it is the Lower East Side because it's lower than Spanish Harlem in terms of the East Side. And there is lower Manhattan, etc. But the address is 188 East 3rd Street between Avenues A and B. Just 2 blocks away from Houston. You can come here either on the 6 train and walk over, or the 4 train, I should say, the F train to 2nd, and that's close. Or you can get off. You can take the 4 also if you want to what is it?
Square.
Union Square, and then take the 14A, which is the closest one to 5th Street and Avenue A. Anyhow, Google or Goggle, one of those things will help you out. Google? I know they related. It's like Confusion and Confucius.
Right.
Yeah, are they related?
No.
'Cause I get confused. Anyhow. See, LES, what I understood, okay, so LES, just though, from what I understood, I thought this was LES. But what I heard is that LES specifically is before Houston Street that goes side by side with Chinatown. So that's what they're saying is LES. And this particular area from 14th Street all the way this way, it's the East Village, but over on Market, I should say Mark Street, over about 2 or 3 blocks, that little particular area, they call that Alphabet City, and that was the big heroin spot. But to me, this was all LES too, But hey, you would know better than me. I'm just saying that I used to live in the South Bronx. Now they call that downtown Bronx. So they changed things around. Kind of confusing me. It used to be a ghetto, and now it's like an up and coming neighborhood. So whatever the case may be, regardless, I'm happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to making some of the greatest martial artists of all time. And since this is also a place where I'm teaching, this becomes, anyone who trains with me personally is first generation. And you got quite a few classmates that are legendary martial art competitors and even school owners. Rest in peace to China Doll, rest in peace to my brother, Instructor Torres. And you got Mighty Joe, you got No Joke, and of course Steve The Rock Katz, who was the first martial arts, Fontenay Karate School that wasn't from the Bronx. He had the Queens operation. And for those of you who don't know, he was also Team Rhino New York, who had Team Rhino New Jersey. And for the first part of his career, and the reason why he got signed to UFC, Frankie Edgar was a student, just so you know. So the faith and repossession and movement that we're known for, The Rock took it to another level in MMA and has been proven. So that's a historical fact. Frankie Edgar wasn't just UFC lightweight champion, but he's also a UFC Hall of Famer, coming from a portion of the curriculum. Tweaked, of course, but anyhow, my point is that I'm excited because the next generation of legends are being created as we speak. And for those of you, again, don't let your ego get in the way, because I see a lot of versions of the things that we've taught, and you guys think that you're doing it right, but there's a lot of details. Even when you do the lay-down kicks, they say that the devil's in the details is the truth, meaning that that's the difference. The details really make the difference. And when people mimic and they think they thought they saw a putty cat, it's not exactly the same. Well, I had to share the information, guys. Again, so far, Monday through Saturday, we have classes. I got to say so far because we're willing to do some things, and we've done special events on Sunday. We will be we have Wi-Fi here, but we have to get a booster to have better reception inside of the actual room, so we can actually stream live classes. And I want to teach as many instructors as possible a curriculum that has nothing to do with style. There's two things that you learn. How to be a black belt of life from A through Z, which is where you literally get a chance to teach life skills to your students. And believe it or not, wrote a book on it that will be coming out before the weekend. I'll put a sales funnel, and it's an audio book, and you can actually, you can be a co-author with me. That's another deal that we're going to be doing, because we want to teach people. Most people, when you go to a school, if they have positive affirmations or lessons of the week, they usually have the 4 C's, which is the confidence, control, and so on and so forth, courtesy, etc. But we did A through Z. The Fata family, or the Fata family, meaning shrugs, senior shrugs, and Senior Gregorio, Rocket, his name. These people, instead of doing the ABCs, they went A through Z. And there was A, attitude, B, basic, C, control, all the way to Z, which is zenith, it's the tip of the top, P, perseverance, and you don't stop. So 26 lessons that you would teach, and the parents themselves will have the books at home, and the kids will get a chance to read the books that I made them for children. The idea is to have the proper mindset to be able to overcome what would be obstacles. And it all starts with the mind. If you conquer your mind, your body follows. But if you conquer somebody else's mind, their body follows. That's another thing too, Joshua. So in recent weeks, I've gotten phone calls from people who are coaches or teachers.
Yeah.
And some of them, they got to the point where they wanted to motivate their students without offending them. And one of the situations had to do with dancing of all things. A kid who in the B-boy battle should have won first place, but he took third place. And why? How to speak to the kid for the next time. And that was the whole thing. Next time. And what did we learn? Next time. And what did we learn? I never beat somebody up because they didn't perform. Because they didn't wake up to say, well, today I'm going to wake up and I'm going to underperform. So like that, I can feel like crap. And everybody who looks up to me could be upset at me. That's not the goal. Sometimes you just make a mistake. So I have to say, what did we learn the next time? What did we learn the next time? What did we learn the next time? That was the same thing that I did with my grandson, who happens to be a soccer player. He's really good, but his team sucks. And that happens sometimes. It happened to me. I was in the Mighty Midgets. And my team sucked. So I didn't like to do team sports after that. Say, if I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose all in my own. And then they gave me this little trophy. I had to play the whole season for the little trophy. Get out of here. I'm like, please. And I went to a tournament, got a 6-foot trophy. To me, that was 10 feet. Got 2 of them at the U.S. Open 1981. So I understand what my grandson was going through. So he says he's a little aggressive. So you know what my solution was, Joshua? I didn't tell you. Yeah. My solution was to write a book about him. Right. Oh, did I tell you? Okay, I was excited about it. So guys, I am writing books for people. I have my grandsons, plural, my son, his coach, and a few of the team players be the storyline for A, attitude, B, basic, C, control, D, discipline, E, energy, F, focus, G, gratitude, H, humility, I, integrity, J, justice, K, kindness, L, loyalty, M, motivation, N, mobility, O, optimism, P, perseverance, Q, quality, R, respect, S, success, T, tolerance, U, unity, V, value, W, wisdom, X, we got to get creative, exciting. I know it's not an X. Y, yes, and Z, zenith. So those 26 values that you regurgitate twice a year becomes the lessons to become a black belt in life. So every story is unique. So if you want a book done, I have a guy named Jay Givenson, a company that will take care of you, and you can actually get a co-writer, and it's made specifically for your school. So contact me if you're interested in something like that, because that's going to make a world of a difference when I say to someone, hey, here's my book now, and it's about the ABCs, and it's consistent with what we teach in class because they actually have the blueprint at home. And it's not just a written book, it's an audio book too, for those of you who rather listen to the audio. Then eventually we'll make a video. Anyway, the idea is to take things to a whole new level. You know, Kaizen means constant and never-ending improvement. Kanai means constant, never-ending improvement in terms of an acronym. I learned that from Tony Robbins back in the 1991, 1992 when we used to staff the firewalking seminars. Now that's something that many of you guys probably do not know of, but I have to remember because the fact of the matter is that there was less than 900 people in that place. There was 800 and something people, and I used to have everybody's phone number and their address. Imagine that. It was a network of real deal people. One person in particular that was there that was kind of crazy because I had her information was one of Richard Pryor's wives.
Wow.
She needed therapy, baby. You know, so Richard Shaw is one of the guys that trained in our school. So he was a student back in the day. You know, we have a whole bunch of people who actually have schools throughout the nation, but some of them are teaching different styles, which is fine. But are you teaching the motivation, the goal setting, the A attitude? You know, the winners never quit, quitters never win. I choose to be a winner. The progress check. I'm better than yesterday, but not as good as tomorrow. The positive attitude stretch. Every day and everywhere, get better and better. You know, how do you feel? Super good and getting better. All those affirmations go on top of any style that you teach or any curriculum you're teaching, whether it's martial arts or not. I strongly believe in that because that's the success conditioning that made the difference between myself in my mindset and a lot of my competitors. I guess I shared enough information, right?
I think so.
Again, up there is the Fontenez Martial Arts Family, which is even though we call it Fontenez Karate Family Center towards the end, we didn't have classes that you can take with your kids. So every single class, it's not age specific any longer. It's in group environment. So the adults go with the adults, the kids go with the kids. And when it's all said and done, the whole family can kick together. Because the family that kicks together stays together was one of the corny shirts that I read. But it's true, the family that kicks together does have an opportunity to have rapport with their children. Again, it's not like they're taking the kids to be fixed. They're participating, so it's not you do it, Johnny. Why is it with Johnny?
I don't know.
Huh. That's why I put
Karate
Johnny.
Kid.
Actually, you know what? Oh, is it? I put Johnny as your classmate too, Joshua. And Little Bit, right? Right, Little Bit.
Geez.
So it's Little Bit and Joshua and Johnny and Grandmaster. And that's our version of the ABCs. But if we made it for you, we'll customize it for I should say, I'll have Jay Gibbonson, you know, Jimmy could be the next person. Hey, Johnny and Jimmy, right? Yeah. Actually, Johnny would be Jack, right? JFK.
Yeah.
John F. Kennedy. Didn't they call him Jack?
Yeah, they did.
I don't know why. I don't know how Jack comes from Johnny.
Neither do I.
But
That's a good question.
maybe we should Google that.
Google,
yeah, same thing. Google, goggle. You know, potato, tomato.
Google.
Are you sure?
Yes.
How you know it's not a mistake?
It's not. It's Google.
Okay. Anyway, I guess I'll have to believe. You know, I have to believe you. You know, but yeah, Jack. Anyway, it's a family show, so I can't really use Jack, right? Anyhow, so Sabanim, can you do me a favor and look up the reason why John or Jack? I'm curious to find out. You know. Anyway, guys, listen, extremely excited here. The purpose of this is to take things to a whole other level. I challenge you guys to challenge yourselves. Is it flexibility? Is it strength? No excuses. Do not use your age as an excuse, because if he doesn't use his dyslexia, how old are you, sir?
71.
Years young. And I am 8, and I'm 13. Because 5 and 8 is 13. It's my age. I can say whatever I want. And how old are you, miss? Obviously, she's 10 and she's shy. Because 28 is 2 and 8. Unless you want to be something else. 82. She's acting like she's 82 now. Yeah, see the yarn? Now, my little bit. It's a challenge for her to be here sometimes because she actually is a little sick. So, it's Scottish from John. Isn't that something? All right. Thank you very much.
Johnny?
Yeah, so John comes from, it's a Scottish version of it. So Jack comes from John, and Scotch. That's interesting. Anyhow, Sabanem, De Stefano, has 4 children. This guy here is a black belt when it comes to technology, when it comes to cybersecurity, a whole bunch of stuff. And time flew, man. I remember when I was mentoring him to just do some online stuff, and the guy took it to a whole other level. He got his master's degree. He wrote a book about, wow, been like 4 or 5 years already on cybersecurity. And that's what it's all about, being a black belt in life, taking things to a whole other level. That's the challenge that I have for you guys. How can you get better than you? Mind your business and get better than you. And get rid of excusitis. And for those of you who have heard people in the past, when they say to you, you got potential. Do you know what that means? What that means, Joshua? Potential.
Potential?
That means you haven't done shit yet. Oh, maybe we should change shit to stuff. You haven't done stuff yet. Yeah, okay, because it's a family show.
Right.
But even I don't think they bleep out. Anyhow, someone asked me the other day, the same exact way somebody asked me years ago, what style do you teach? And my answer was, stuff that works. I didn't really say stuff. The other thing. It that works. Because that's the truth. Throughout the years, I've had to add to the curriculum. Because some of the stuff that worked way back when didn't work as efficiently. And if you're committed to Kaizen or Kanai, constant and never-ending improvement, then you make adjustments accordingly. I love the fact that the form Santa has a jab, cross, hook, as opposed to doing these blocks. Because God forbid a student gets in a situation, he's going to put their hand up, leave me alone, and they hit him with a jab. That might work, even though they might have just been training 2 weeks. And then when they learn the left-right drill, which most black belts don't know, that means they learn how to do footwork. Oh my gosh. And as you can see, the footwork throughout the years has slightly changed, but the hopscotch, an extended version of hopscotch is what makes you bridge the gap without having to be committed to a side. So you go from a neutral position and go. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you must be a martial artist, because this is not martial arts related stuff. We use it for martial arts. Hey, the next book that I actually have, and I'm going to launch it as of yet, maybe for New Year, is the book on sport karate, sniper fighting, the book on sport karate and point. Because there's a difference between sharpshooters that actually have bullets inside their weapons and people who throw techniques and they have blanks. You ever notice that? You see a technique, the guy got hit and they still standing. Why? There's blanks. Instead of scoring the point, they may believe they scored the point. And the person's standing like, what? And you're confused. And that's the new sport now. It's called pointless karate. Because no one really scored, so it's pointless to me. And by definition, that's why they did the super fights. The super fights where someone actually had a score to get a point. Imagine that?
Yeah.
So that means that when they did that, that means they admitted that the other stuff was pointless, that the other stuff you don't really have to score. Martial arts sometimes a little stupid to me. It's like the people who don't have splits teaching you how to do the split, but they don't have a split. How the hell are you going to teach me? Anyhow, that's just one of the reasons why people hate me. And the reason why some people love me is a love-hate relationship. But I love the fact that I'm honest. I'm not humble, I'm honest. I can get better, damn it. I know I can get better. Can you get better, Joshua?
Absolutely.
Have you gotten better?
Absolutely.
How about you, Miss Little Bit? Have you gotten better?
A little bit.
See, that's the reason why I call her Little Bit. It's not because she's small, even though she is. Every time you ask something, Little Bit. Honey, are you hungry?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah. Hungry. Honey, are you sleepy?
Yes.
Oh, she said yes. That wasn't even a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna have to give her a bottle and tuck her to sleep. So I'm gonna have to. It's about, what time is it? Oh, nap time. Oh my God. So I'm gonna have to put her down right now because now I can feel how she's looking at me right now. Definitely. In the meantime, she will be sleeping and drooling. Mimi, you're supposed to be here in about an hour. I don't know if she's gonna take class. You're gonna have to. Are you gonna take class?
I don't know.
She doesn't know. My Little Bit today had a bad situation. She's a sick baby, and I got to make sure I take care of her. But I love her with the bottom of my heart because she's the one that drives me. She drives me crazy. Without a license. Do you have a license?
No.
Do you drive me crazy?
No.
No. He's supposed to say Little Bit.
No, I don't drive you crazy.
or you don't drive. I'm already there, right?
No comment.
Yeah, guys, listen. In all honesty, I challenge you guys to get better. Man, get yourself in the best physical shape possible. You might be having to train in things that make you uncomfortable. You know, as Sabanem, the Stefano is either going to be training in Filipino, FMA, martial arts, or he looked into some Indonesian in his area. I don't think that was the one he was going to do. So Salat, Salat just means like karate, a whole bunch of styles that come from Indonesia, Malaysia. So I'm into all that stuff now, guys. Why? Because I believe that the missing links in martial arts includes weapons that you guys may not realize. I'm not going to be teaching a lot of this stuff until people get to the higher level because I don't want to go to jail. You turn around and put someone in a situation where, you know, they hurt somebody, like really hurt somebody, and then it'll come back to you because you're the person that taught them that. So I don't want that to happen. But I do want people to get home safe, so I'm going to teach them everything that's as efficient. So sometimes maybe someone throws a jab at you, like the Santa, and what's the counter to it? Over that damn thing. Uh-oh. Please disregard the previous technique. Because I don't want you guys to get in trouble. Anything else, Joshua? Joshua, how is it feeling, on honesty? How does it feel now to teach these people to get their white belt, and now you're seeing them learning techniques?
Oh, it feels good. It feels really good. Especially when they rat me out, too.
He's always giving them some extra stuff. How dare he want them to get better, faster? People learn the sniper fighting curriculum, and it's confusing in the beginning. And in the beginning, everything's new. So if it's new, you're not good at it yet. But they learn the sniper fighting curriculum, and then they see our white belts and yellow belts. Actually, not even yellow belts here today. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Miss Littlebit could probably teach you at least a third of the sniper fighting curriculum already. Yeah. She knows the left, right drill. She knows the circle drill. She's doing the hopscotch. And that's it for starters. That's about a third of it. And it's confusing. You see people from honey, were you surprised when a black belt came here and was learning how to do the left, right drill and the circle drills and they didn't know how to do it? Mm-hmm. Did that surprise you? You assumed that everybody knew this thing.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's unique to us. And that's the reason why Joshua, when he started training with us, he said, wait a minute, we didn't have none of this stuff. And then when you competed, how cool was that?
Oh, it was really good.
Yeah, because you was like you was a ringer, right?
Yeah.
Like like people would be standing there to try to hit you, and you was like, I ain't gonna go cooperate. I'm gonna be over here. And that's what's cool about it. That's why today, to this very day, I'm able to score on people and do things that, you know, not because I'm good, they just don't know. I think that every martial arts student is about the same. They're phenomenal, but at different things. So when it comes to being able to strike and be in position or not being hit because you're out of position, that's our strength. And that's our unique selling proposition. When it comes to motivation, no one does it like us either. I must say that's not. I'll challenge anybody. If Tony Robbins was teaching martial arts, he won't be as motivated as we are, because we have tools in place in order to gauge what will be the energy level. And that's something that becomes an umbrella over any style that you teach. The sparring curriculum, that in itself is unique. The rules or no rules in the sparring curriculum. Joshua, imagine a blitz with a finger jab. A finger jab to an elbow to a knee. Get behind the person and rip their mouth. You might go to jail, but you get home safe.
And you can do it from either side.
So we teach the first form, and we start left hand committed, and then we switch to the right side committed. And then the second form actually has all the basics that you guys practice in class, but put that into a form, which I never trained in a style that did that.
Last night we almost did Gloria on the right side.
Oh,
almost.
How dare you
we
experiment to try to improve. Now, I knew that was going to happen, because when you have a new toy and you already know the format, of course, if you learn Santa on one side,
we did that.
Why not do Gloria on the other side? And it works both the left side and the right side of your brain, which actually makes you live longer, believe it or not. It makes you live longer. So again, our commitment to black belt excellence is the real deal. And that's what it comes down to. Destroy the fang. Quadrant said. I should say seven. Yes, destroy the fang means the actual weapon itself gets destroyed. The fang is like if a tiger's getting ready to bite you, break the tooth. Similar to when the jab is coming at you and you hit the jab with your forehead. which is one of the ways that what's that guy Mike? I'm going back to the he's the bare knuckle world champion right now. He used to be a UFC fighter. I'm going blank on his name. First name Mike from Florida. He breaks people's hands with his forehead, which is old school pugilism. Back in the days, that's what they did. The Jack Dempsey's of the world, even when someone threw a jab with a glove, they would hit them. This knuckle versus this knuckle. I guess that's where we got knuckleheads from. Anyway, that's the first family coming in right now for the next class. And on that note, AB, see ya! We out of here. Thank you.
Bye.